Disclaimer. This video is made for entertainment purpose only, it doesn't mean to hurt anyone, and don't take it seriously.
Why do you have a
Okay, me
picture?
podcast, you listen. As we start this episode, I always have a subject change for MC. We'll get to that in a minute. Can't even see what the hell that is.
Unless I move.
But me had something pop up on my Instagram, and I wanted to ask you if you were to save any of these, which one would you bring back?
That's an easy one.
Which is it?
Toys R Us. I think there's just a huge void without Toys R Us.
So why do you think that? Why do you think that we're missing Toys R Us so badly? Do you think that convenience stores like Target, Walmart, those big box chain stores are just not carrying the amount of toys that Toys R Us used to carry?
Yeah, I think their shelves a lot of times for stretches don't carry anything new. And, there's a lot of people, whether people realize this or not, a lot of adults that come into the store looking, almost semi-regularly to the, not almost, they do. They come in semi-regularly into the toy aisles, the action figure aisle and the Hot Wheels aisle, obviously, is probably the most popular one. And they come into these aisles looking for their stuff, really. I mean, stuff they collect. And yeah, I think there's just a huge void without Toys R Us, really.
Do you think that stores carry just the most popular items? Because Toys R Us used to carry, especially for little kids, like little babies and 1-year-olds and 2-year-olds. It's not like they're looking for action figures or all that stuff. And it seems like big stores, like the box stores, carry only what's popular to where you don't have a whole lot of toy options anymore without having to go to Amazon, which is pretty much the Toys R Us of the internet.
Yeah, I mean, that's taken a place of a lot of the stuff. A lot of people just, hey, fuck it, I'll buy it on Amazon or eBay because you could find stuff that people may have gotten super cheaper. I'm laughing because I just like if people hijacked and stole a box of one figure that came in. And sometimes it feels like the prices are ridiculous. Like, why the hell did they, if they're selling hot items, we would never know. But it could be somebody who bought in bulk from a smaller store or actually comic shop, toy shop. But yeah. So to address your exclusive thing. Yeah. I mean, they'll carry it and then sometimes they won't even carry the exclusive item. And then, Toys R Us did that too. I think a lot of times Toys R Us, maybe their downfall was they would have so much bulk of some of the garbage toys that they quote unquote had to carry because maybe of the relationships with these, maybe a Mattel, Hasbro, whatever, many different, obviously retailers, vendors they're dealing with. It makes it difficult to survive because, unless I don't remember, I don't know, maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember Toys R Us really having a large, I mean, it was maybe before it kind of took off, but they never really had a huge online presence, even in their heyday,
When my children were younger, you could order stuff from the internet from Toys R Us, but it wasn't like it is now.
Yeah.
You just have to, like Amazon, dude, they ship everything. They ship dog food. They ship everything. I don't know where the fuck that's what I'd like to walk through an Amazon warehouse one day and just see like what kind of shit. Because you'll get it like the next day. You're like, I want this tablet pen for my iPad that's specific for this. And the next day, like, we got it. It's like, where the hell do you have all this shit stored?
You would think with having stocks with Amazon, they would at least give me a free Prime membership. But no.
Great, you made me spill water on my microphone. Well,
here's 40 minutes of silence or me just, are you okay?
That was just my section. So I just have to play. If anybody from the 80s remembers this sound bite, then you know what it is.
Oh, is it their theme song?
Never heard that sound bite before?
Be a star.
The more
you know. Yeah, that's right.
The more you know. All right, let's get into it, nerd, about what you've been watching on
I get out of the frame to even see it.
Daredevil,
Yeah.
the third
Or
remake of a
the
show.
fourth, technically would be the fourth season. I sent you a recap. I mean, there's a good recap Screen Crush did on the first three seasons of it, which is probably very helpful if you want to catch up, because as I'm watching, I'm like, right off the bat, they bring back one of his villains, and I know he was in the third season, but I couldn't remember anything he did in the third season outside of maybe Chase
So this one's called
Karen Page.
Daredevil Born Again.
Yes.
And then this is a post
This is a
Daredevil.
A Disney. A lot of people want to say it's a Disneyfied season of Daredevil, which is what scares a lot of people from possibly wanting to watch it because the violent nature of what was on Daredevil on Netflix. But it's technically would be the fourth season of the same universe of Daredevil, or the Netflix characters, I guess.
This is the theme song.
The theme song
from Daredevil Born Again. It just seems evil.
Not my microphone.
I'm a blind lawyer and I fight evil.
We should be wearing sunglasses like your monkey behind your gorilla behind you.
I'm blind, but I fight a big bald guy. He's evil. He was also in Full Metal Jacket.
Yes.
He killed himself, but in this show, he runs for mayor.
He's a criminal mobster, basically, big mastermind.
Who is he?
What? Yeah, you've seen it, right?
I've seen the beginning.
Oh, well, I
know who Kingpin is.
But you've seen the Netflix series, though, didn't you, or no?
The last one?
Any of them?
This one that's coming up right now, the one you're talking about?
No, but like the one that was on Netflix, the 3 seasons. You've seen those, right?
Nope.
Oh. So you're jumping in blind.
Mm-hmm. You gotta give me a heads up on this. I can have that prepared.
As a stick flies through and
I am not a Daredevil fan, nor am I Elektra fan, so I could give a shit less about this series. I tried to watch it, and when I started to watch it, it was very boring in the beginning. And I know that you got to watch, like, you're going to be like, you got to watch like 9 episodes, and then it'll get really interesting.
Well, watch the recap first to start off before you even jump into Born Again. So if you haven't seen the Netflix series, the one I just sent you, maybe we could put a link in it.
So this is an affiliate. This is like a tailspin off the last episode of
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. So it's pretty much, as far as we could tell, they didn't change anything, because they did bring back a couple of the popular side characters that originally weren't going to be in this series. The fans kind of were in uproar, and they did. Whether that made people happy or not, you'll find out. But yeah, I would watch the Screen Crush kind of 15-minute or 19 minutes for whatever episodes, 45 episodes in 19 minutes, whatever they did. And it's really good. I was watching it before we came on the air here, just as a refresher. And that's really good because it'll remind you of a lot of stuff, because the Netflix series, it's been a long time since I've seen those. So to be honest with you,
but it's not the original guy from the Netflix series, is it?
It is, yeah. It's Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, I think is how you say his name. And they're the main characters. So Kingpin and Daredevil are the main characters. So Elektra, like you were talking about, she mainly was in the second season, and that was kind of the worst received of all 3 seasons. I think it's pretty safe to say. And she hasn't really, maybe she was in the third. I don't remember someone, because I don't remember a whole lot of the third season. I remember more of the Punisher than I do the Daredevil third season. But some of the stuff comes back to me as I'm watching that recap. But yeah, it's basically a story of, how mirrored, like Daredevil looked up to his dad, Kingpin hated his dad, and they kind of just it's definitely, there's a dichotomy there that they've used, and both actors are really good. So, they get a lot of screen time, and rightfully so. They
So what
kind
did
of
you
kill
what
it
did you
on
say
those
the main
roles.
actor's name is? Charlie what?
Charlie Cox.
Did you say Cox?
Juvenile.
Charlie Cox.
Need to bust out that one we did with our faces on Beavis and Butthead. I forget which episode that was.
So, anyways, it's your time to shine. It's your time to shine. Share your review so far of what you've watched.
So on the air, basically, as we're on the air, if we're reviewing Born Again, it's a slow build. It's basically picks up. I mean, this is what we can warn people for spoilers, right? I'm going to imagine.
Yeah, whoever listens to this should know that.
Okay.
We ruin everything.
Spoilers now. At this point, you can wait to resume the episode if you haven't seen the first 2 episodes of Born Again. But as we record this, I think the third one might be coming tonight. But essentially, they pick back up somewhere in the life after Daredevil season 3, where Matt, who's Daredevil's Matt Murdock, is Daredevil. His law firm is Murdock, Nelson, and Page, I think, and Foggy Nelson's is best friend from college, and he grew up together, and Karen Page is the one they saved starting in season 1. So essentially it picks up there in their law firm, and their life is kind of, you can see their life's all cheery from the end of that episode. So what happens is, in a nutshell, and people have to forgive me for this, I think Bullseye, who's the number 1 villain outside of Kingpin in this universe, but in the comics, it's pretty widely known. Bullseye is like Daredevil's number 1 nemesis. He comes back for revenge, and I think he was trying to kill Karen from season 3. So, and Foggy apparently here. So basically, Bullseye returns at the beginning of this in a very deadly, bloody scene. He shoots Foggy, who's lying there in the pavement. Karen was about to get it, but Daredevil, who was trying to save one of Foggy's clients, comes back, and it just turns into a huge brawl through this bar they were at. So it turns from they're all happy and this is their life at the bar into like a bloodbath, because Daredevil, basically Matt as Daredevil, is fighting Bullseye all through this bar, and they go up to the roof, and it essentially ends with what we believe, from everything we've seen, is Foggy's heart stopping him, dying. And at that point, Matt, aka Daredevil, he's had all these bullseye daggers in him and stuff, screaming because he could hear his heartbeat stop. He pushes Bullseye off the roof, and essentially you think he might have killed him. But at that point, one of Daredevil's friends, who's a cop retired, finds out his secret identity because he sees him on the roof after he's unmasked. And that leaves kind of a cliffhanger there. And then they're showing Bullseye laying on the pavement because he basically, fell off this whatever 3-story building. And then he opens his eyes. So, Bullseye's alive at that point. That Matt tried to kill him. So then it basically jumps a year later, and then so on. It kicks it up where, where they are, what's happening in their lives. And I think it's just was a way to kind of get Foggy out of the show and satisfy the fans demanding for him, because he wasn't going to be in it. And they were a way to get Karen out of the show as well, because as you'll learn if you're watching it, Karen basically and Matt meet again after a long time at this trial because Bullseye is alive and he's basically being sentenced at that point. They bring back the actress, they bring back Karen Page to have kind of a little spat with Matt. She's living in San Francisco now, and they kind of write her off of the show. So as they do that in this future, now 1 year later, it essentially kicks off kind of a reboot without those 2 characters that Matt was intertwined with throughout the entire Netflix series. So, and then at that point, he's given up being Daredevil. So it's kind of a weird kind of, he's given up Daredevil. And then as you learn, because while this is going on, Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin has returned from his appearances in the Echo series and in Hawkeye, where he was supposedly shot. And as you learned, if you watch those shows, and I haven't fully watched Echo, I haven't watched any of Echo, but I watched the Hawkeye series. So Kingpin did survive. He basically is returning to find his wife in charge of his criminal empire, and him trying to mend fences there and kind of make the step towards, like, I don't know if he's, looking like he's clean, where he was telling her, I have to appear to all my uh what you would say, my activity is they're clean, because he's basically running for mayor. So he's the Kingpin's trying to be mayor, and then meanwhile you got Matt Murdock, who's given up being Daredevil, putting all of his basically his nose to the grind as a lawyer. So kind of sets that up. And I know you were saying you did watch it, and it was very slow, and it was just a lot of story set up in that first episode after that Bullseye kind of battle. It's safe to say they knew that. That's why they released episode 2 as well, which also kind of is bookend by some action as well. So, because episode 1 basically ends with Kingpin winning the mayor, what do you call it? The electoralship, whatever you would say. He becomes mayor of New York at that point, and then he wages a war basically on costume crime fighters, as you'll find out, because there's another character who's from the comics in this. They reference Spider-Man, and basically sets it up for episode 2, where Matt, is basically trying to defend the White Tiger, who's a comic character in the Marvel universe. And it kind of leads to some crooked cops. And then you'll see at the end of episode 2, obviously revealing spoilers, he's about to be killed by these corrupt cops, and then he just fucking goes to town on him, pardon my language, and he just fucking cracking his arms, basically just like you would expect the type of brutality from the Netflix series. It basically ends episode 2 like that.
All right. That was winded. 3 episodes in, and that's already
2 episodes. That was 2 episodes.
Podcast is done. So I'm reading this on Rotten Tomatoes. They said that
good night, everyone.
This has been 10 years since this show was released on Netflix. So
feels like it.
Does he? Well, that's what it says. 10 years after Charlie Cox first suited up for the Man Without Fear, is suited again in Daredevil Born. So questions.
Yes.
That they've asked other people that reviewed this. Was the show worth reviving?
Yeah, if there's a story to tell. And some of the stuff I think this is based off, I think, Born Again. There was a trade. And I mean, now you can find it probably in trade, but there was a storyline in that, I think, or they're just using the title because it sounds cool because they revived it. But I think it probably mirrors it. I mean, I'm more of a DC guy, obviously, by my shirt, but I've my share of Daredevil comics. I know enough about the universe. So it's kind of based off of it.
Yes,
is it worth reviving? Sure, because right now it's the #1 show on Disney Plus, and I think it's gotten good reviews so far. People are
so far the reviews are comicbookmovie.com says the revival series blows every expectation out of the water. The person from USA Today says it almost feels like the series is purposely courting the average. It is a good enough copy of what was originally stunning. You agree or disagree?
Yeah, I was trying to tell a friend that and say, yeah, I think if you're asking, is this kind of truth faithful to the Netflix show? I would say, yeah, so far.
All right.
I don't know if it's going to fall off the rails, because I've watched some horrible Disney Plus series, and I've watched some horrible Netflix series and the Marvel characters. So, I mean, it could fall off the rails, but so far it's set up pretty good.
How does this compare to the MCU's other shows?
Yeah, it's better than, I mean, I think the only one that's really said that was fairly decent was the Loki series, maybe season 1, 2. Hawkeye was okay for what it was, from what I remembered. You can't put like the cheese. We've talked about this before. If something's really cheese in movies, we talked about too. You gotta, when you're dealing with comic book characters, a lot of people like to kind of lose themselves in. They've read comics that you might not have, because you were playing football as a child and whatever you were doing.
I was in 4-H, buddy. I wasn't in sports my whole entire life.
But whatever, a lot of the people that read comics, they want to see the stuff faithfully adapted. So, and I think in the Daredevil case, Punisher's case, and he should appear in this series as well. A lot of people are fans of John Bernthal's Punisher. He's supposed to show up in this series too. Yeah, I think they'll be satisfied with what they see.
Comicbookmovie.com says easily MCU's darkest and most twisted adventure. It's best yet. Not just the best what'd you say?
I'd probably be safe to say, yeah.
Not just the best MCU series, but the best comic book TV show ever made. MC disagree.
Well, I mean, I don't know. How could you say that after 2 episodes?
I don't know. I feel like right now we've entered into the world, and I'm going to play a sound bite. Oh, where is it? We've entered in the world of nerd! Nerd! Can you hear that?
Yes.
Yes, because it's meant for you.
You don't like it?
I prefer the. Is that from Revenge of the Nerds?
Yeah.
I prefer the Homer Simpson one where he yells out of the car in that one episode where he just screams nerd. And then a supposed jock's walking down the sidewalk and he yells from the car, hey buddy, did you get a load of that nerd? And he's like, pardon me?
And compared to the Netflix Daredevil series, how is this compared to the Netflix Daredevil series?
So far, I think it's channeling the vibe pretty good. I don't see anything that's quote unquote Disneyfied, like where it's really stupefied by a lot of things that Disney tends to touch and make it worse. It's hard for me to judge right now. It's only 2 episodes in. I would say so far so good. It's tough because I think most people said Daredevil season 1 would top them all just because of just what it brought and kind of launched its own Defenders universe, so to speak. I mean, the other series, especially Jessica Jones, was like one of the worst TV series I've ever seen. It was such hot garbage, and a lot of people didn't like Iron Fist season 1. I think they said season 2 was better, but I've never seen that. I liked Luke Cage, but a lot of people crapped all over that. But yeah, I think Daredevil season 1 is kind of like the benchmark of the series. Defenders, when they brought all the characters together, that was really good too, but that was very short. That was like 6 episodes, and you had the kind of benefit of having all the characters already established to put them in. And just like any team movie, comic book team up movie, you pretty much, or series,
let's see if you're on the pulse of everybody else. Comicbookmovie.com says it retains everything that made Daredevil so beloved, and unfortunately drops what didn't. Fortunately drops what didn't.
So would they be, did they even say in that article, were they happy that Foggy was killed in the first episode?
I don't know. And then it says
because he was a big part of the Daredevil series on Netflix. And they weren't even going to bring him back. They did bring him back because the fans were kind of wanting that, and then they killed him and they sent Karen away. So I mean,
and other superhero shows in general, how do you feel about this movie in general?
What do you mean, this new Disney series?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it has some legs already. So you're taking established block of universe basically that was never really officially acknowledged, I want to say, as the MCU, but they kind of, they got these characters' rights back. They got them away from Netflix, and now they have a chance to say, okay, here's a good bringing back, because I know they brought back the Punisher writer for this and the stunt coordinator, I think, too, from I want to say from Daredevil or Punisher. So they were bringing back people from those Netflix series to work on this, and I think that's huge because you want to have an authentic kind of representation from moving from that Netflix universe to this one, because I believe they're keeping everything, or so far, maybe, hopefully, maybe not a lot of that Jessica Jones shit, but they're bringing this whole universe to their MCU, basically, and Disney. I want to say that you want to hope that it keeps it close to that, and it keeps it, retains the feel of those series, and I think if they do that, they'll have a good hit on their hands because they already have established characters. They have actors. They have everybody who knows these characters. And you kind of set a building block to kind of restart because they've had a lot of duds on the Disney Plus. So I think this gives them an opportunity to kind of reset that with the kind of urban street level MCU now, bringing it to Disney.
So how do you feel about Charlie Cox returning to this role?
Yeah, he was really good. Did you like his appearance when he appeared in Spider-Man? Remember when he caught the brick?
Yeah.
It was, yeah. So, I mean, I think from then people kind of knew and could see him in the MCU officially as Daredevil since they hadn't really recast him. And I think, he kills it.
Does this tie into the rest of the MCU? This show?
For the first time, they mentioned Spider-Man, and then they have the White Tiger, who's debuted. He's kind of an obscure Marvel character. A lot of people might not know. So they've already mentioned kind of him and Spider-Man, and kind of in Kingpin's speech, he says, because obviously, he's a jerk, not supposed to like the Kingpin. So he's going to say, there's no place for, these vigilantes in my New York. So basically he's waging war on the vigilantes, and he's going to hold them responsible. And it's kind of like when Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock basically meets the Kingpin as, he's become mayor, I think at this point, or he was running for mayor. Maybe it was episode 1, I think. They sat down in that diner and they had kind of like, and after all the history they've had in the Netflix series, essentially they're talking about if you cross the line or, if you cross the line, I'll be there for you. So it's essentially like kind of what do you call it? A cock waving contest or whatever they call it.
Squaring off.
Yeah.
Sticking their chest out.
Yeah. So that was kind of a what you call it?
What was his name?
Precursor.
Full Metal Jacket. Snowball? No.
What did he call? He called them like private something, didn't he? And
wasn't
the only thing I remember. Yeah,
I think it was Private Snowball.
No, I don't think he called him that. It's something to do with his weight, wasn't it?
Oh, look. How do you feel about his how do you feel about his role coming back in as the Wilson Fisk character?
He's noticeably slimmer than a lot of his other appearances that people said, but apparently the actors said that he's going to look like his comic version. I don't know if they're going to CGI because the Kingpin in the comic is like ginormous, like he's just a big blob, So I don't know if they're going to do that, but he says he's going to be noticeably bigger by the end of the series, which Kingpin in the comics is like.
He looks like the Hulk.
He's bigger than you.
Yeah, he looks like the Hulk.
Yeah, in a way, yeah, for sure, definitely Hulk-like, and yeah, I mean, in his slimmer form, he's still a big dude. He's still intimidating in the show, but yeah, in the comic, he's just like girth. Look like he just rip anybody's head off.
Pile. Sir, yes,
Pile.
sir. Do you think I'm
that's it.
Pile? Do you think I'm funny? Sir, yes, sir.
You're now Private Pile.
Yeah, he's a great actor. Yeah, he's been around forever, as you can tell from when Full Metal Jacket came out. That what?
Sir, yes, sir.
90s.
I bet they regret that. You're so ugly you could be a modern art masterpiece. What's your name, fat body?
Sir, Leonard Lawrence, sir.
Lawrence what, of Arabia?
Sir, no, sir.
That name sounds like royalty. Are you royalty?
Sir, no, sir.
Do you suck dicks?
Sir, no, sir.
Bullshit, I'll bet you could suck a golf ball through a garden hose.
Sir, no, sir.
I don't like the name Lawrence, only oh my God.
Oh.
From now on, you're Gomer Pyle.
Sir, yes, sir.
Do you think I'm cute, Private Pyle? Do you think I'm funny?
Sir,
That
no,
get us
sir.
banned?
Wipe that disgusting grin off your face.
Sir.
Huh?
Does it get us banned from the algorithm, or does Trump protect us now?
I don't know. We didn't say anything.
Google is still, but they probably don't like that word if they're tracking it.
Who's they? Huh? Who's they? Who are you talking about?
Google.
Anyways,
Google's still lurking in the
on
weeds.
YouTube.
I know.
Looking at it right now on
Wow, is
fucking
it?
YouTube. Yes.
That is weird, yeah.
On Bad Wolf, who's got 300.1 million views.
Well, that's why they like Bad Wolf. They don't like us.
They don't like us. We got only 53 followers.
And we never break the algorithm, ever.
Oh, okay.
We
I
get
gotta
a,
go back.
we get a short that pops up once in a while for 5,000 views, but that's about it.
I got another question. Are there any major problems as we wrap up this episode with this show?
Maybe the fear that they might do something Disney that would dumb it, water it down, I think. But I think so far it's just been maybe a lot of setup. I mean, you could answer that. You watched the first one and you said you weren't really that impressed because it was too slow and not enough action, right?
So the thing about comic book movies for me is I didn't watch. If you had to, I would be the generic version of a comic book person. Like I watch and read maybe Superman, Spider-Man, Batman. I was generic. I didn't go into the deep, dark world of comic books and look at all these characters. I like Wolverine, but I don't like. I don't know a whole lot about, like, I don't dig into it for the part where I can discuss like the dark side. Now my brother he watches Batman. He likes Batman. He likes the dark side of Batman.
Yeah.
So again, I think it's just a matter of what you found interesting. For me, it was sports, and I liked I liked the TV shows that were out in the 80s, like the Captain America, Spider-Man, Kiss.
Yes. What the fuck is
Kiss? You don't remember Kiss versus the Phantom? What? You don't remember the fucking
Kiss versus the Phantom?
Yeah, they tried to make
Kiss.
Yeah, you never seen that?
Superhero Kiss? Did they have their own cartoon?
Mm-hmm. They did. They had their own cartoon.
Vaguely familiar.
They had their own TV show where they fought the Phantom.
Got me a few years. Maybe that was before my time.
I'm gonna have to find that while you.
The Kiss cartoon, folks. Look at them. They have face paint. That must mean they're superheroes.
Dude, I'll find it. You just
like the Ultimate Warrior.
But I think you have to watch, huh?
As they're dying out there.
I know. You just have to watch the show longer, I guess, to get into it. But again, I don't get into this stuff.
It's a long setup.
I started watching Reacher.
I've not seen that yet. That's got the guy who
plays in the football movie.
Yeah, didn't he? I think he played Hawk in the Titans series too.
Yeah, so I don't know. I can't get into this stuff if I don't really have like a buy-in already. So
yeah, and you got to remember it's Disney too, so when they're probably going to show you more of the brutality, like in parts like they've done in the series, like at the beginning of the first one, at the end of the second one. Their most brutal parts they're probably going to tease and basically deliver in certain parts, so it's not all one episode of huge violence because they know they're on Disney. So it's probably going to be rationed out.
Kiss.
Yes, meets the Phantom, 1979. Without revealing my age, I would not really be coherent to be watching this.
You were too what? I was
in 1979. You were 86?
I was 6 years old.
I can't hear him though.
You can't hear it?
I thought it was a cartoon. It looks like them live.
Okay, I gotta do this. We do this again. Damn it.
Are they live action inside of a cartoon?
You didn't see it? No, it was let me get
I was younger than you. I don't want to say
looks
how
like
much
the
younger,
beginning
but...
of it. So they're fighting the Phantom in the park. And they're fighting them and they shoot lasers and stuff. And Gene Simmons like shoots fire out of his mouth, and it looks like it's the beginning of the episode of the Phantom of the Park. Oh, it is. It says right there, intro. So this is the buy you into the show, so you can watch it.
I don't know if I should feel sorry for you. If
it was the
series or
okay. All right, I don't want to lose us at this. Let me see how much time we got left. We got 4 minutes. All right, let me see if I can find.
Chris Jericho, the wrestler, does a Kiss. I think it's specific 80s song era only, or something whatnot, or maybe it is that era. And he I forget that. My buddy just seen him in he goes to Quarantine, so they go under the name Quarantine. They only play Kiss songs from a certain era, and he just seen him. Just reminded me of that.
Why would he?
It's just he's a huge Kiss fan like you. He must have grew up watching the
I'm
series.
not a Kiss fan. Here's a Meet the Phantom.
But
of the
you
Park.
remember it quite fondly because you're
Here's the
playing
fight
this.
scenes.
Dead center.
That's what I needed to see. Shirtless, hairy chest kiss fighting crime in the amusement park.
This is great.
Very well then, for my head. I may be outnumbered, but I am not outmanned.
Oh. That's the
Oh,
villain
look at
from
it,
See
dude.
No
They have,
Evil,
like,
Hear
no-
No Evil.
They have no clothes on at all.
That's Mr. Sutherland from See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
They couldn't even fight in a good area. They had to
Oh,
fight under the
Bleachers?
yeah.
Or the roller coaster. It's probably
is like-
bleachers.
We weren't prepared to fight like this. We're wearing high heels.
They got them outnumbered too, 4-2.
Yeah, but the drummer's not tough, and neither is the guitarist. So it's just
Gene Simmons.
oh shit!
Oh fuck, he could climb. They can climb up.
Nah, you're oh, there's 3 of them now. 4,
Oh.
5. Uh-oh.
Shit, now Kiss is outnumbered.
Check
huh?
out this music. Here we go, baby. Gotta play Kiss music.
H is more like it.
Detroit Rock City.
Mr. Sutherland, the blind villain from See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
This is the fight scene. This is the biggest fight scene ever.
Oh,
Check it out, bitch. Yeah.
that was a jumping crotch block there.
Yeah.
Oh, what the hell's going on there?
Yeah, they're fighting. See, this is the superhero shit I watched.
Oh, that's-
Look at them. Oh,
Cheapest
Gene
AI
Simmons.
fireworks, Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons
He's
just shoots
breathing fire at them.
Yeah. Look at
Jeez.
the karate.
Gene Simmons doesn't do anything. He just moves out of the way and
Because he doesn't want to ruin his hair.
spits AI fire at them.
Yep.
No, I have never seen that ever.
You should watch it.
Till just then.
Kiss meets the Phantom of the Parks.
Kiss from 1979. Daredevil Born Again.
You never know if you had my choices. All right. Well, me podcast, you listen. Thanks for
Mindless
listening.
kiss violence or exposition in the Daredevil series.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Daredevil. Do I watch it? Do I dare watch
Born
it? Or
Again.
do I dare not? MC says watch it. It's a good show. I say watch Kiss and the Phantom of the Park. Look it up. 1978. Some of you wouldn't even know. Your parents probably weren't even born then. So thanks for watching me podcast. You listen, and that's it.
Like, subscribe,
do whatever you got to
share
do.
everything. Please.
Get us up to 60 followers. Thanks for
Yes.
watching.